Good morning, it's Saturday and welcome to Saba's Way of Life. So today I want to talk about exercise, and it's not the type of exercise that you're used to listening to, not that kind of a talk. So let me just go straight in. I can't tell you how important moving your body is. I have alluded to this in previous videos, but the knowledge that I have now, not just through reading, but of course through actual lived experience, is second to none. And for me, is just pure evidence that this kind of way of understanding movement and exercise is absolutely imperative for you to be able to attract that and absorb that into your daily life. First thing I would say is, based on the society we're living in today, we're not a farming community anymore. So we don't move, we don't get up at dawn and out and pulling vegetables, or out in the field with collecting vegetables in our head, that kind of thing. We're a very sedentary society. So it's really important, in light of where we are today, is that you do some form of exercise every day that gets you out of breath. Now, for me, it can be anything. Do not be stuck on, oh, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. It can be anything. For me, I really enjoy spin classes. And that sounds really strange because I'm not an advocate of the gym, but I have a local college around the corner. It's a 5-minute walk. It's cheap and cheerful, and they have 3 spin classes a week. I get to see other people. I like the instructor, and it gets me out of breath, because when I'm on that bike, I move and I'm out of breath. It's just an hour of my time 3 times a week. That's it, and it makes me feel good. That's the important thing. I feel good. However, you can do anything depending on what is around you, whether you want to go out running, whether you want to go to the local park and do a little exercise on a bit of grass where you're running up and down, or press ups against a bench, but do something that's going to get you out of breath quite quickly. Whether you do it for even 15 minutes a day, you need to get out of breath. With my spin classes, what I do is I put the resistance on the bike very high. I don't follow what the instructor says. I understand. I understand the machine. I understand my body. I've researched. I know who I am, and therefore I feel confident in doing my own thing. This goes back to, once again, the same principle of, you don't have to believe what anyone else. 99% of what other people tell you is rubbish. Don't accept it. Do your own research. We're all different. So I put resistance on the bike and I push it, and I get out of breath very quickly, but it's also building muscle in my quads, which I need to build. It feels like I'm building muscle, but I would argue that it isn't doing that. There are other things that actually build my muscle in a much more metaphysical, spiritual way, but I'll talk about that in just a second. So do that. The other thing I would recommend everybody do is walk. Oh, for goodness sake, every single day you need to be walking, and you need to be walking for an hour, half an hour. Forget the number of steps. Get outside, not in the gym, not on a treadmill. It's not the same thing. Breathe in the air and walk. It clears the mind. I'm going to read something to you in a moment from Rudolf Steiner's agriculture book, which is mind-blowing. So it's very, very important to do that, to help clear your head and connect with a creative source around you, wherever you are, but get out into the open air if you can. There is a very real reason why we are being encouraged to stay home and inside. Through stealth measures, we are being taken away from our own real humanity, which is outdoors. In an earlier video I mentioned to you, most of your time should be on your feet and outside, wherever possible. Now I want to read this to you from Rudolf Steiner's book Agriculture. This one, which I shared a little while back with you. And it's a brilliant book. It's a compendium of different lectures that he gave back in 1926. I think it was in June, for a week in June, in German. This has been translated. But this is just from the introduction. So it says here, people nowadays do not even know how human beings and animals are nourished, let alone plants. They think nourishment consists in our eating the substances that are around us. First, these go into the mouth and then into the stomach. I'm just moving on. So people conceive of nutrition in the most superficial fashion. The fact is that all the foodstuffs taken in through the stomach do not build up our bones, muscles, or other tissues at all. They only build up the head. And this is what I spoke about in a couple of other videos, that whatever you eat goes straight into the brain and it builds up your head in terms of how you think and clarity of thought. Yes, it doesn't build up your muscles per se. And I'm going to just move on here. So let me just read. Everything that enters the body by way of the digestive organs is then metabolized and distributed, only provides material to be deposited into the head in what belongs to the nerve end system. Now, on the other hand, the substances we need for building up our limbs or our metabolic organs, the long bones in our legs and arms, or our intestines, for instance, these substances do not come from the food taken in by way of our mouth and stomach. Instead, these are absorbed from our whole environment by means of our breathing and our sensory organs, the eyes and the ears, yes, our sensory organs. Within each human being, that process is continually taking place. So what is taken in through our stomach streams upward and put to use in our head, while what comes in from the air and the rest of our surroundings, and this is also your environment, who you're around, what you're listening to, media, family, everyone, that is taken in through our head, and the rest of our surroundings is taken in through our head, our nerve sense system, and then streams downward to build up the organs of our digestive system or limbs. Now, it's very clear to me when this is understood that, and this isn't just from here, I've read other books as well, when this is understood that all these diseases we have today are a direct reflection of dis-ease in our body from what we're taking in from our sensory organs, what we're listening to, what we're smelling, what eyes, ears. All right. Now, what he said here, as I have often mentioned, these substances flow through the organs in a 7-year cycle, so that as far as our metabolic limb system is concerned, we are built up out of cosmic substance. Oh, you know, when I went back to read this just yesterday, there are so many parallels with some of the verses I read in the Quran, and they're not coming to me right now, but when they do, I will share them with you. Our nerve sense system is built up out of earthly substance. And this is something that modern science, however, does not tell us about this at all. And it doesn't even give us the way and means to discover something like this. Now, I just want to explain, even though Rudolf Steiner talks about agriculture, really he's an anthroposophist. Anthroposophy was his expertise or his interest. And really what that is, it's a spiritual science. Is using a form of spiritual science. He was a Christian, so definitely a scripture reader, to understand. So this is a path of inner development that aims to guide the spiritual in the human being to the spiritual in the universe. And he's also talking about the land and growing food. It's very, very important. What he says here, this is so, it is just so incredible, these words. He described how our physical and material world is permeated on all sides by a rich and multifaceted divine spiritual world. In this view, the earth is seen as an integrated, living being. And this is just the beginning. Incredible. So I need you to really understand one of the reasons for being out in the garden, not least for everything else I've already discussed, is that it's imperative for your body to heal alongside sleep and movement and exercise, and build up the muscles in your body from the air that you breathe and how you breathe. It's a completely different way of looking at things, and I would add more closer to the truth than ever. And it's being hidden, and it's been hidden for centuries from us. That's what I wanted to share with you today. So get your body moving, get out into the open air, and if you have a garden, please just get gardening and start appreciating nature. Even if you were to get up each day and just spend the whole day in the garden, the act of lifting things, pulling bags across, moving this here and there, you're exercising your body as well. And you're also, the cosmic substance is helping to build your limbs, your organs and your intestines. Have a great day.